guess. The OTAs will evolve like everybody else has to evolve. And how exactly they'll evolve, I'm not 100% sure about. But certainly with their marketing power, they can delay kind of the evolution a bit. Because even today, if you ask a consumer, again, this is North American data, why they book on an OTA, 3 out of 4 say because it's the cheapest price, which of course it's not. So their marketing power and their ability to use that just still carries a lot of sway.
Yeah, I think they'll probably provide more services the power is in the data. Everything we just talked about is reinforced. The more insights the OTAs can deliver to hotels, the more valuable they are to them.
But I think it's interesting what Peter Varlow was saying earlier as well, that they have lots and lots of insights about the customer, but every time you try to use them, the customer says, no, we don't want that. We want to know everything. We don't want personalization. No, don't try and push me in a particular direction. So it's quite difficult there.
Maybe some users think that, but actually, eMarketer's recent study shows that personalization works. So over 67% of people actually want personalization, and especially the younger generations seek personalization because they actually know me, you know what I like, and I'm much more likely to buy with you. Personalization is crucial.
We've spoken about direct, we've spoken about the OTAs. Here in the European marketplace, we have another source of indirect business which is often a little bit controversial, which is the whole area of wholesalers. Now, it seems to have calmed down recently. Do you think that wholesalers are going to remain important in the future, or how's that going to develop?
For me, not. We started our company, past the wholesaler stage, I would say. We opened our first hotel in 2008, and we basically, when we started, we called Booking.com and said, how much demand do you have for this airport location, and can we deal without any low-price contracts? Because if you think about it as a marketeer, if you want to build a brand that is there long term, how can you vent to a customer that books you 2 days prior to arrival, and that there's people that pay the third of the price, haven't even considered the hotel themselves, coming through the back door, through the bus. And that's not something that we were willing to risk to take, because every reservation you take at a lower price, you have to compensate somewhere with a higher price, and that customer goes to TripAdvisor, he does a review. It's the customer that is most likely to come back. So in our destinations, we've never had to use any low-priced contracts, but I can imagine in other destinations.
Guillaume, with independent hotels, you can see it a lot.
Yeah. I think those things will remain and will remain strong for a number of hoteliers who have less of a strong brand, I would say, and who rely on those providers. Now, I think the big change that will happen is the move from net contracts, like yearly negotiated contracts, to something much more dynamic. And the ones who are doing great are going towards, obviously, dynamic pricing. But in terms of value addition, the ability to bring traffic through bed banks and dynamic pricing will remain. And I would bet on them continuing to do fine, if they, technology-wise, move into this direction of dynamic pricing.
One thing I would add to that is, they tend to function along the lines of economic cycles. So, and how you evaluate your hotel operators. So the hotel operators evaluating on how full is the box, and all of a sudden there's an economic downturn, and a wholesaler says, okay, I'm going to buy that. I think economic cycles play a pretty big role in how big of a piece of the pie they're going to contribute.
One more question from the audience.
Somebody's got a microphone.
Hi, my name is Ralph. I work for Derbysoft, so we do quite good things on meta search, obviously, with a lot of people. But last week I saw an estimate from Gartner that by 2020, 30% of search will actually be screenless. So by voice through things like Alexa and Siri and whatever. Like, it kind of boggles my mind, because how do you as a hotel chain then get your direct booking out, on an assistant? Like, thinking a bit forward, what do you think the challenges will be for you, Lennert, with Citizen, or with Google?
Well, I think for us, we're in a fortunate position that in the last couple of years we've invested most of our profits in technology that is allowing us to build an open API platform. So, if you want to see it work, there's a development office in Amsterdam where you can turn on the room with your voice, and you can shut down the lights and the temperature up. It's all based on Alexa, but it's integration layer, and that fragmented technology in the hotel business makes it very difficult for companies that facilitate this to be successful. Because if they want to get 100 hotels on board, they probably need to have 100 integration conversations. So we have developed.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Lennert, but correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the question was more about the distribution field, in terms of what's going to happen when somebody turns to their Alexa and says, hey, book me a room in Amsterdam.
Well, there's probably going to be one of the major players with sticky hands sitting in between, facilitating that transaction. I don't think it's going to be a lot of hotels that are part of that game, and they will be part of the game, but at the end. Right? So it's either Amazon or they're integrating with Google, but Google will be using the same APIs as to do with hotel ads or Book Direct or Book on Google. And so it's just a different front end to it for the customer. Nothing changes on the dynamics in the distribution landscape.
Terri, I know you guys must be working on this, but I don't know what you can actually say.
Yeah, I mean, today's I.O. We're announcing a lot more around this from today.
So you can announce it now.
I can announce something now. They're already in the US, 20% of all mobile searches are voice. So it's already there. It's much more informational and less transactional. The only transactional aspects are in retail that we're seeing with Alexa. And only, starting to experiment. So you've seen Expedia start to experiment